Okay, there's a guy who emailed with a thought experiment.
I can't reach you.
It's basically he was defining terms for theism, agnosticism, and atheism.
Okay. I have mine preferred definitions for that.
He's got this deal where he flips a coin, and then he asks you if you think it's tails, if you think God exists. And no, I don't believe it's heads or tails is an agnostic. I don't believe it's tails is an atheist who's also agnostic. I don't believe it's head. Anyway, it was kind of confusing the way he was going through it.
It's one of
Crappy analogy.
Yeah, because analogies are supposed to make things easier. And I'm not saying that it necessarily makes things more difficult, but all it does is swap names with the exact same crap they could have done without the coin.
So what I wrote was, first of all, the analogy is flawed. While a fair coin toss has two equally likely results, the issue of whether or not a God exists does not have two equally likely results.
Right.
The fact that there are only two possible results doesn't mean they're equally likely. Here's a better scenario. There's a box on a table. It either has something in it or it doesn't. And then I wrote this big story that's just a conversation between a theist and atheist, and occasionally an agnostic. And I put a big note on here because I just love to piss off the agnostics, but I make sure I'm pissing off the right ones. The agnostic in this story represents a particular type of intellectual agnostic that makes assertions about the unknown and unknowable. This doesn't represent every type of agnostic. So, Thad.
Yes.
You're in the easiest position to get up.
Okay.
Come on around. Do you want to
bring my mic?
You bring your mic. We'll need an agnostic at some point, but I'll just think of it. Do you want to be the theist or the atheist?
I don't care. I can be either. I'll be the theist.
Okay.
I'll be the stupid.
So there you are. You go first.
I believe that the box has a leprechaun in it.
I don't believe that. Why do you?
I heard him talking.
I don't believe that either. In fact, I have no evidence that leprechauns exist.
Well, either there's a leprechaun in the box or there isn't, right?
Right.
So it's 50-50. And since I heard him talk, I'm sure that there's a leprechaun in there.
Either there's a leprechaun in the box or not, but that doesn't mean the odds are 50-50.
Of course it does.
Actually, no. But could you offer some evidence?
Hang on. He's just told me that if you don't believe he's in there, he'll chain you to a tree after you're dead and stick his up your ass for 10,000 years. Stick his something up your ass for 10,000 years.
I think there's a typo in that.
Yes.
Wow, but I was asking if you could offer some additional evidence beyond your claim that you heard him talking. I didn't hear him say that, by the way.
Well, you're not listening hard enough.
Okay. Let me listen for a second. I still don't hear anything.
Give it time. You've got to sincerely want him to hear. Want to hear him.
If he's in there, I'd like to know it. I mean, I'll keep listening.
Did you hear that?
Nope, nothing.
You're either lying or you're so closed-minded that he's not letting you hear him.
Not letting me? Leprechauns can choose who can hear them?
Of course. He could open this lid, show himself to me, and you'd never see it. You'd think the box was closed the whole time. They're magic.
Well, do you have any evidence for this? I mean, I've never seen a leprechaun. I have no reason to think they exist. And every time you tell me how to prove it, the test failed.
No, you fail. It worked for me.
Well, there are other people here who've tried this too, and it failed for them.
Yes, but these people over here heard it. In fact, there are way more people over here who will tell you they heard it.
Well, I talked to some of them. They all have slightly different take on this. Some say it's a leprechaun, others say it's a fairy, others say it's a goblin. None of them describe the same voice, and they apparently have conflicting messages that they claim came from inside the box.
Ah, yes. There's actually a troll in the box with the leprechaun. He sometimes pretends to be the leprechaun, or a fairy, or a goblin, in order to fool those other people, but you'll notice they still heard something.
Well, yes, so they say, but others didn't.
Well, that troll sometimes blocks the sounds, so people can't hear it.
So, how do you know when you hear the leprechaun that you aren't hearing the troll?
Don't be absurd. The leprechaun is my friend. He makes sure that I only hear him.
Yeah, but how can you be sure? If you think there's a troll there, too, who pretends to be a leprechaun, how can you know? Maybe there's only the troll, and he's just fucking with you.
Now you're just being thick. Look, there's a box, right?
Yep.
Now, Why would there be a box here unless there was something in it? There must be something in it, right?
No, the box could be empty.
No, it couldn't, or there'd be no reason for the box to exist. Boxes are for holding things. We all know that.
So you're claiming that the box could not possibly be empty.
Correct.
And you don't see that as a flawed premise.
No, and it's confirmed by the fact that I heard a leprechaun.
Well, how did you hear him?
He talks to me telepathically.
So you didn't mean to listen with my ears. You meant listen with my mind?
Your heart.
That doesn't listen.
Your metaphoric heart.
Okay, but that guy says he heard it with his ears.
He's wrong. He's hearing the troll.
But I don't even hear the troll.
He's blocking you.
Okay, how do you know all of this?
The leprechaun told me.
So you've made appeals to magic, telepathy, leprechauns, trolls, and non-empty boxes, and you've offered no evidence. I'm sorry, but I don't believe you.
Don't forget the shillelagh.
What? Right. And you've made threats about things that'll happen after I'm dead. I guess it was the shillelagh he was going to stick up my ass. When there's no evidence that there's any me to experience anything after I'm dead, I just don't believe your claim.
What if you're wrong? Isn't that a lot to risk? He says he's got a pot of gold for you if you believe. Isn't that worth believing?
Look, even if I could make myself believe, which I can't, why would I want to do that? If there's no leprechaun in there, then I've wasted the opportunity to find out what's really in the box. And if he wants me to follow his instructions...
Oh, he does. I've written them down for you. Here.
Then I'll have wasted time doing things that... Does that say do not eat poo?
Yep. Great rule, isn't it?
Yeah, but what about drop money in the box?
He's got needs, too. Pots of gold don't grow on trees.
I thought he was magic.
He is. But, well, the money is so we can tell other people what the leprechaun wants.
Well, why doesn't he tell them?
He could, but, well, he will if they're open to it. Some, like you, are fooled by the troll.
Why doesn't he get rid of the troll?
It's a mystery, but we're sure he will eventually.
Anyway, if this isn't true, then I'll have wasted a lot of time and money on something false only to avoid a threat that wasn't real.
Yeah, but what if you're wrong?
Okay, look, I'm done. I do not believe there's a leprechaun in the box.
How can you be sure?
I'm not, but I don't believe there is.
How can you say there is no leprechaun in the box?
I didn't. I said I don't believe there is one.
Same thing.
No, it isn't. However, now that I've considered and rejected your claim...
Don't do it!
I'm willing to say that I actually do believe that there is no leprechaun in that box.
No, you're making an irrational claim. You think you know everything?
No, I'm not claiming that I am absolutely certain that there's no leprechaun in the box, but I actually believe to some degree of certainty that there isn't, because if there were, I'd expect there to be some evidence to support it, and all of the investigations keep coming up empty. I'll be back with some tools. We're going to open that box.
You can't open the box.
Why not?
You just can't. It's impossible.
He's right, you know. Neither of you know what's in the box. You're both equally absurd to assert that you do know. I didn't assert that I'm absolutely certain. I simply stated what my belief is, and it's based on the evidence or lack thereof. Don't be silly. You're just as dogmatic as he is. I'm not dogmatic about this at all. I'd just like to open the box and find out. The box is impervious. How do you know? Well, I don't. It just seems impervious. Really, do you have any other impervious things to compare it to? Well, no, but I'm sure it's impervious. If you'll forgive me, as we're essentially on the same side in that we reject his assertion, I don't reject it. I don't reject anything. Well, do you accept his claim? I don't know. You don't know whether you accept his claim? No, I mean I don't know whether if he's right or not. Well, neither do I, but that's not what I asked. The box is impervious. Well, you sound just as dogmatic about our inability to know as he does about his private communications with the leprechaun. Now you're just being rude. Look, I'm going to open this box. Silly atheist. So I got a drill, and I managed to drill a tiny hole in this box. I mean, it's really tiny. Look, it's not impervious. I've got a little hole here. We may eventually be able to investigate this in more detail.
You switched boxes.
No, this is the box. It's still impervious. Your little hole doesn't give you any information to support your claim. I can continue to investigate, and so far there's no evidence to support the theist claims.
You switched boxes.
No, I didn't.
Then, he's hiding. He needs you to believe without seeing him, so he's hiding.
That makes no sense.
The troll has created an illusory hole that is providing you with false information about what's in the box.
That might be possible. I really couldn't say. No, I bet you couldn't. So what happens here is the theist walks away to tell other people about the leprechaun in the box. And the agnostic tries not to be anywhere near either one of them while secretly keeping an optimistic eye on the atheist's activities. And the atheist goes about his life occasionally finding new ways to investigate the box, but he tries to enjoy his life while preventing the theist from ruining it by imposing the leprechaun's rules on everybody.
What's wrong with not eating poo? I don't...
You throw in a chupacabra and I think you got something.
It's, you know.
Look at all the good things that leprechauns have done.
Trees. Look at the trees. They're used to make shillelaghs.
Well, Warwick Davis did all right, except for those last 2 or 3 movies.
So was I playing the part of Ray Comfort?
To
some extent.
I did not assign any particular ideologies to voice 3 or personalities.
At least one line made me think.
What about the banana?
Here's one.
Banana up your butt. All eternity.